January is a difficult time to sign players, and it's often so that clubs waste money on players that don't end up being worth it. So 1 year on, let's go back and look at how every Premier League club's January signings from last year have done, and give them a rating out of 10. Arsenal had a busy January last year, especially once Alexis Sanchez decided he was leaving the club. He went to Manchester United, and the Gunners got Henrik Mkhitaryan in return, who's been okay at times, nothing spectacular but still pretty decent. The big arrival was Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who came in on deadline day with Olivier Giroud off to Chelsea. The Gabon striker has been a revelation at the Emirates, scoring 10 goals in 13 last season, and now he's one of the top scorers this time out. 1 year on, Arsenal's 2018 January signings get an 8.5 out of 10. Next we've got Bournemouth, who didn't actually sign anyone last January, so we can't give them a mark. They've made up for it this year, raiding Liverpool for Dom Solanke and Nathaniel Klein. With no Bournemouth signings, we'll move on to Brighton, who splashed out on Jurgen Locadia as they went in search of goals to keep them in the Premier League. He cost an initial £10 million, but Locadia's hardly been a hit at the Amex, so far just managing 3 Premier League goals. They also made a sentimental signing by bringing Leonardo Ulloa back on loan, but he struggled too, and now he's playing his football in Mexico. 1 year on, we're going to give Brighton a 3.5 out of 10. Last season was incredible for Burnley, and in January they looked to add some pace to their side. Aaron Lennon came in from Everton and he's been a good signing for the Clarets, and the other rival was George Kevin Nkudu on loan from Spurs, who wasn't quite as good. He's quick, but that's about it, and he's barely been seen since, only just getting back into the Spurs team now they've got an injury crisis. Lennon's been decent though, so it's a 6 out of 10 for Burnley. Next up it's Cardiff, and this one is a really hard one to grade. The Bluebirds were in the Championship a year ago, looking to keep pace at the top. To do so, they brought in a few loans, plus Gary Medine permanently, which was an absolute waste of £5 million. But Marto Grujic and Yannick Vilschut had an impact on loan as Cardiff ended the season with promotion. That was merely down to the players they already had though, so we'll give Cardiff a 5 out of 10. Over to Chelsea we go, who were very busy last year, with varying degrees of success. Emerson came in to add backup for Marcos Alonso. Is he any good? No idea, the lad's barely played. Olivier Giroud brought his lot of goals to Stamford Bridge, but he does have a great understanding with Eden Hazard, not that Sarri cares of course. Then you've got Ross Bartley, who's blown hot and cold since he got his big move. He was excellent at the start of this season, but he's since dropped off. Overall, we'll give Chelsea's 2018 January signings a 6.5 out of 10. Next is Crystal Palace, and their January deals are just sad when you look back. Alexander Sørloth cost £9 million, and Christ he was awful, the lad's already gone out on loan, still without a Premier League goal to his name. Then there was Yaroslav Yak and Erdal Rakip, who never played a minute between them. It didn't look good then, and a year on it still looks awful. A 1.5 out of 10 for Palace. Everton splashed the cash a year ago, but they didn't spend it well at all. There was one loan deal, and that was a disaster with Mangala spending most of it injured. Cheng Tosun cost £27 million but wasn't the Lukaku replacement they needed, while Theo Walcott also cost more than £20 million, and while not a total disaster, hasn't been a massive hit at Goodison Park. We'll give Everton a 3.5 out of 10. Next it's another side who were in the Championship last January, but Fulham actually did some great business. Alexander Mitrovic was the key rival on loan, with his goals guiding them to the playoff final, before becoming a permanent cottager in the summer. Another important loan signing was Matt Targett, who got the best out of Ryan Sessegnon on the left. Sadly, his loan didn't become permanent like Mitro's, but they also signed Cyrus Christie, who isn't too good a fullback. But overall we'll give Fulham a 7.5 out of 10, as those 2 loan signings were key to promotion. Huddersfield made 2 signings last January, both with totally different objectives. Alex Pritchard was signed to create goals at one end, while Terence Congolo was brought in on loan to stop them going in at the other. Congolo certainly did this, earning a permanent move this summer, and he's actually been one of their best players this season. As for Pritchard, he's hardly the creative force that Huddersfield need, as you can see by their lack of goals. It's a 6 out of 10 for Huddersfield. Next we've got Leicester City, who had an uninspiring January last time out. The only signing they complete was for Seni Diabate, who looked an exciting talent on first glance. Quick and a strong dribbler, it looked like the Foxes had another gem on their hands. 1 year on and we know that that's not true, as the lad's nowhere to be seen in the Leicester side. We'll give Leicester's 2018 January signing a 2 out of 10. Liverpool completed the biggest deal last January, but it was also the most pivotal, and the Reds are still reaping the rewards. They paid a whopping £75 million to bring Virgil van Dijk to Anfield, a record amount for a defender. However, it's fair to say he's turned around their defence, guiding them to the Champions League final and now launching an assault on the Premier League title. Top marks for Liverpool, who get a 10 out of 10. Next it's their title rivals Manchester City, who also splashed the cash on a defender a year ago, bringing in Aymeric Laporte. While the Frenchman hasn't been as transcending as Van Dijk, he's certainly impressed, especially this season alongside John Stones. They also added Jack Harrison, who they'll hope is a future star. But Laporte is the real deal and will give Man City a 9.5 out of 10. Manchester United completed a huge deal 1 year ago, bringing Alexis Sanchez to Old Trafford. He was given the number 7 shirt, he played a little piano on arrival, everything looked perfect. But alas, no. Sanchez has fell off a cliff since moving to Manchester, gone as the player who's such a talisman for Arsenal. Even now when he's back fit he can't get a game, with Solskjaer opting for the youthful exuberance of Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial. Sadly for Man United and Sanchez, it's a 2 out of 10. Newcastle's January signings last year kind of saved them, but in hindsight it hasn't all been rosy. Islam Slimani looked like a great signing until he realised he could barely play due to injury and then got himself suspended, but Kennedy and Martin Dubravka were heroic for the Magpies, keeping them in the division. Over the summer, Kennedy came back on loan and has really struggled to re-find his form, but Martin Dubravka has picked up where he left off, securing himself as a fan favourite with his performances. The Magpies get a 7 out of 10. Next it's Southampton, who are getting the lowest rating in this video and putting it out there now. The Saints spent £19 million on Guido Carrillo, who had a shocking goal-scoring record at Monaco. In a shock to no one, he wouldn't get the goal Southampton needed, who were looking to avoid relegation. As for Carrillo, he left on loan this summer, still in shock that someone spent £19 million on him. It's a 1 out of 10 for the Saints. Last January was the last time Tottenham signed a player, and to be fair to them, it was a brilliant deal. They concluded the signing of Brazilian attacker Lucas Moura, who initially didn't get too many chances in a Spurs shirt. This season though he's proven his worth, scoring some stunning goals and putting in some breathtaking performances, easing the pressure on Harry Kane's shoulders. If they can get another player like Lucas this January, Spurs fans will be very happy. It's an 8.5 out of 10 for last year though. Next we've got Watford, who didn't really do anything inspiring last year. Spaghetti Hair Didier and Dong arrived on loan but didn't feature at all, and Dodi Lukabakio only played once before going out on loan. They did get Dale Fairway on loan, which helped them complete a permanent deal this summer. The Spaniard has been okay for the Hornets, who get an overall 4.5 out of 10. Next it's West Ham, who had a very mixed January. João Mario was the marquee name, arriving on loan from Inter Milan. After a slow start, Mario came good at the London Stadium, and I'm sure a lot of fans wished he'd stayed. Patrice Evra came in on a free with his ageing legs and really struggled. Then there's Jordan Hugill. The striker cost £10 million from Preston, and every penny of it was a waste of money, and now he's out on loan at Borough. Overall, we're going to give the Hammers a 5 out of 10 1 year on. And finally we've got Wolves. For all their signings, Wolves were pretty quiet last January, with their big name signing being Benik Afobe on loan from Bournemouth. He scored a few goals and was bought permanently in the summer, only to be sold a few days later for even more money to Stoke. Used as a money-making tactic, I wonder how Afobe felt about the whole affair. Either way, Wolves get a 5.5 out of 10 for last January. It's not like Afobe won them promotion on his own. So that's every Premier League club's 2018 January signings rated 1 year on. Let us know your ratings in the comments below. Thanks for watching and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.